Okay, good morning. Today we are going to discuss about narrative structure. So, what is narrative structure? Narration. Narration, as you know, describing, narrating a story. So, here narrative is nothing but it's an organization of a series of events in the form of a story. Like, for example, movies, you can say, where you have different events taking place, that is actually in form, in a ordered, in an organization. They organize it in a proper way and they put it in front of you in the form of a story. The word related, this word narrative structure is actually related with ancient epics, romances, or modern novels, you can say, and short stories. Then elements of narration: plot, character, atmosphere, technique, point of view, and style. These are the elements of narrative. I'll repeat again: plot, character, atmosphere, technique, point of view, and style. E.M. Foster, in his aspect of novel, defines story as a chronological sequence of events. He is describing the story as a chronological sequence of events and plot as a causal and logic structure which connects the event. So here E.M. Foster is saying, defining it, the story as a chronological, that means in an order, in a sequence of the events, and plot is considered as causal, and it is connecting what the events here. So narrative may have one or more plots. Okay, that means a main plot or one or more subplots will be there. There is a tight plot. Tight plotted means narrative in which story proceeds in such a manner that everything happens for a reason or a purpose. Okay, there will be a reason why that event is happening, or there is a purpose, or event or one event is a consequence of another. That is, one event has happened because of something else. So that will be connected actually. That is called a tight plot. A tight plot, I hope you are clear. A narrative in which story is proceeding in a manner that everything is happening. Events, whatever events are there, you can just imagine a movie. Okay, for everything you can take an example of a movie here. Like in movie, one event is related with some other event. Okay, then you have loosely plotted. Loosely plotted where writers place less emphasis on causal connection between events taking place. So here, when events are taking place, there is a causal connection. So that is called loosely plotted. Tightly plotted where seriously, that is, something is happening, some events are happening, there is a reason or there is a reason or purpose behind that. Loosely plotted, it is only a causal manner. Then next thing you have idle traditional plot by Gustav Freytag. So Gustav Freytag is a German critic, and in his book Technique of Drama, his that is applicable to most of traditional novels. Here, this book is consisting of exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, resolution, falling action. So he is talking about idle traditional plot, which is actually divided into exposition, conflict, rising action, climax, and resolution, falling action. So first one we'll discuss is about exposition. So exposition is presents the main character, describes the setting of the story, providing some background information about events, settings, characters to the reader. For example, exposition means where main characters are describing the story. Okay, they're describing the background information. For example, you can say in movies, you can see sometimes the movie starts with the background information. Then it comes to the present situation. That is called exposition. Next thing is conflict. So what is conflict? It is the essence of fiction that contributes to the formation of the plot. Okay, there are three types of conflicts what we are going to discuss. First one, man versus man versus nature, man versus self, and man versus society. The first one is man versus man, a situation in which two characters have opposing desires or interests. For example, you can say in the movie, you can see the protagonist and antagonist, or you can say the hero and the villain. So hero and villain always have opposing ideas. Okay, that is man versus man. Clear? Then man versus nature. Man versus nature is where the man is actually doing what he is fighting against. Okay, so you can see a type of a conflict a character is tormented by natural forces. For example, you can say storm, flood, okay, or animals also. Maybe a dog is attacking a thief. That you can give as a best example here. A dog attacking a thief. Then next one, man versus self. Man versus self, the conflict develops between protagonist inner struggle and may depend on a character trying to decide between good and evil. That is, here the man is unable to decide what is good, what is bad. You can say an alcoholic is struggling to abstain from liquor, is trying to come out of that habit. Okay, that is man versus self. Best example in English literature, you can say Shakespeare's Hamlet. Man versus society. Here, it's a type of conflict where character must take on society itself, not a single person. Okay, the whole society he is taking on, not any individual person. Then comes your rising action. Rising action here is which constitutes the events that develop from the main character. Rising action is it is developing from the main character here, attempting to solve the conflict. For example, you can say the hero always in a movie is trying to solve the problems, the conflicts. And climax, what happens? It is a turning point, a moment of crisis where the main character or the hero or the protagonist is doing what? Is solving the conflict here and reaching a point of self-recognition. Then comes your falling action. Falling action denotes the events that follow the climax and releases the tension. After your climax comes your falling action. That is, after the solutions, after the conflicts, that is, a solution is found to the conflict, then the tension is being released. It is called as resolution or denouement. Clear? Then we move on to flashback and flash forward. That is a narrative technique actually. So flashback means analepsis and flash forward means prolepsis. So we'll discuss these two narrative techniques here. Flashback is what, as you all know, in a movie, when something is discussed about something happened earlier, that is called flashback. Flash forward is an event that will happen later somewhere. Okay, then we'll move on to the narrative structure. Narrative structure is what? The characters here are persons represented in a fictional narrative. Fictitious way they are being represented. They are interpreted as possessing specific moral, intellectual, emotional qualities by inferences from what they say and their distinctive ways of saying it. That is how they are saying. And so the characters here are representing in a fictional narrative. They actually interpreted as possessing some quality like moral, emotional qualities, and they say that they are distinctive ways of saying it. That means the dialogue, how they represent themselves. Now hero, for example, is having a different kind of attitude, then comedian is having a different kind of attitude. So they differ. The way of dialogue they give, the way they present themselves, that is differing. Then comes E.M. Foster's in his aspects of novel makes a differentiation between two types of characters, that is flat character, round character. Okay, so flat character is, it embodies one or two qualities, ideas or traits that can be readily described. So a flat character is talking about one or two qualities or ideas that can be readily described. Round characters they are more complex than flat or stock characters. They display inconsistency and internal conflicts found in most real people. Then, so there are two types of characters: flat character, round character. Flat character is which embodies one or two qualities of ideas or traits that can be really readily described. Then, a hero or heroine, often called protagonist. Antagonist is a character that stands directly opposed to the protagonist, give rise to the conflict to the story. So, protagonist is who? The hero of the story. Antagonist is, you can say, for example, the villain of the movie or the story. Then comes foil. Foil is a character who, through contrast, underscore the distinctive characteristics of another. Usually, a minor character serves as a foil. So, in a movie, if you see, there are major characters and minor characters. Minor character means where they play only they play a role that is for some time, for a little time. So, they are called minor characters. So, they are actually foil. Then comes confidant. 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 So, confidant means a person who always keeps your secrets. So, here, confidant is a character who is not integral to the action but receives the intimate thoughts of the protagonist. That is, heroes or heroines' very close friend, very best friend, who keeps all the secrets of the heroes. Next, we'll talk about atmosphere. So, what is atmosphere here? Atmosphere in a writing means the emotional tone. That is, when you look at the landscape that is expressed in the writings, or that is shown in the movies, you can say they are actually expressed by the settings. Okay, landscapes that helps the reader to actually anticipate the course of events, whether they are happy or sad, such things. Then comes settings. Setting signifies actually the time, the place, physical details, circumstances in which an event occurs. So each event occurs in different situation. Each event occurs different time. So that is called settings. Then the last one which we have to discuss is the style. Style is what? It's an aspect of narrative as it comprises the harmonious balancing of writer's choice of words. So when it comes to writing, like the style means the writer uses the words, the way he actually balance his writing by using his words. What is that we call as diction? The combination of words, these words is turning into what? He is changing it into sentences. That is syntax, and organizing or grouping these sentences into paragraph. And finally, the tone or attitude of the author in the treatment of a subject of narration. So the tone, the style, how the author is thinking each subject should be narrated, in that way he turns his words actually. It includes writers' choices of literary devices. Like you have earlier, actually, we have studied about all these literary devices in your earlier semesters, like imagery, symbolism, in poetry and all we use hyperbole, allegory, metaphor. So these are the things, literary devices actually, which a writer makes use in his writing. So this is about your narrative structure. Hope you understood. Thank you.